Deus Ex Human Revolution, released by Eidos Montreal in 2011, is quite possibly the best installment in the venerable Deus Ex series, despite a few minor hiccups. The original Deus Ex is still one of my favorite games of all time, and I personally liked its sequel, Invisible War, but Human Revolution outclasses the original in many ways, and makes Invisible War look like a piece of crap. Being a prequel to Deus Ex, Human Revolution takes place 25 years before the events of the first game and deals with the issue of transhumanism in the context of mechanical augmentations. After a terrorist attack on Sarif Industries, mortally wounded security chief and player character Adam Jensen has his life saved by cybernetic parts that grant him superhuman abilities. 6 months later, Jensen sets out to deal with continued threats to Sarif Industries and find out what organization nearly killed him. Along the way, Jensen uncovers a vast, mysterious conspiracy, with various groups vying for control over augmentation technology. The world and future society Human Revolution creates, and the issues it raises, are fascinating, though the game does seem to promote a basic distrust of huge, unscrupulous corporations, which are a common feature in the cyberpunk subgenre. It still allows us to make our own judgments on augmentation technology and progress in general, as very little in the game is black and white. David Sarif, CEO of Sarif Industries, is a major pioneer in augmentation technology, a field originally invented by Hugh Darrow. Sarif seems genuinely altruistic in his desire to improve the human condition through cybernetics, even if his methods aren't always reputable. To Sarif, augmentations are simply tools to make human lives better. The benefits of augmentation, such as enhanced strength, speed, perception, and intelligence, are undeniable, but there are consequences, including the high cost, debilitating glitches, and the need for augs to take an addictive anti-rejection drug. William Taggart, the founder and leader of the Humanity Front movement, campaigns for greater regulation of biotechnology, as he is concerned that augmentations could compromise our humanity. Taggart believes that a technology that is redefining what it means to be human could get ahead of us and become dangerous if we don't impose boundaries and limits on it, just like potentially any other major breakthrough. Human Revolution considers the question of whether progress needs to be kept under control in the context of augmentation technology, and provides insight into both sides of the issue so that we may reach our own conclusions. Beyond the richly layered conversations, character customization through augmentations, and the multiple ways you can complete objectives, Human Revolution grants a high level of intellectual freedom as you explore its issues. It must be said that Human Revolution has a very practically minded interface and upgrade system. In a lot of first-person shooters, your heads-up display will highlight important objects, display information about characters and surroundings, and indicate where you need to go, even though your real-world brains and eyes don't really do that. But in Human Revolution, since Jensen's physiology and mind have been enhanced with machinery and therefore partly digitized, it makes sense that the game's interface would do the things listed above. Also, when Jensen first visits the limb augmentation clinic in Detroit, the attendant tells him that he has a wide variety of augmentations in his system, but most of them were made inactive to prevent overexertion on his brain, and they can be gradually activated over time and experience, or immediately turned on by purchasing Praxis kits. With the first option, Human Revolution actually provides a plausible explanation for how gaining experience and upgrading abilities in RPGs would work. Adam Jensen is voiced by the awesomely named, awesomely voiced Elias Toufexis. As for Jensen himself, his behavior and morals are largely up to you, but if you play him as a good person, he is quite a likable protagonist. He is a stoic, no-nonsense guy who doesn't show much outward emotion, but he still possesses a strong sense of dignity, righteousness, and respect for the people close to him, such as his boss David Sarif, his girlfriend Megan Reed, and his pilot Farida Malik. The game contains many side quests that reveal additional facets of the main plotline and expand upon Jensen's past, his friends and colleagues, and the places he visits. And like any game with a strong focus on story and character, they make us further warm to Jensen and thus gain emotional satisfaction from our/his actions. For instance, I came to really like Malik, as she is a very kind and supportive ally to Jensen. It therefore felt really good to expose the murderer of her friend and save her life in Hengsha from the bell tower soldiers. And Jensen and Malik's sweet repartee as she flew to safety.
The bird's fixed and I'm taking off. Get on with the damned mission. And Thanks, Spy Boy.
Made me like Jensen more, in turn. Human Revolution is filled with interesting, fleshed-out characters, excellent dialogue, superb voice acting, and heavy atmosphere. The many dialogue puzzles, which test your wits and persuasion and could easily be viewed as boss fights in themselves, are utterly enthralling. The combat, while cover-based, is very fluid and exciting, and as with Fallout 3's pseudo-turn-based combat, Human Revolution made me realize that I probably like cover-based shooting as a gameplay mechanic. The weapons are well designed and diverse, and can be upgraded in multiple ways to suit your needs. Jensen's takedown moves, through which he can instantly either knock out his opponents with his fists or kill them with his arm blades, are awesome to watch.
Like a mouse!
The stealth is also very tense and well executed, as you are able to monitor the guard's behavior, line of sight, and patterns, and act accordingly to avoid them, if you want to, that is. As mentioned before, you have the freedom to accomplish your objectives in any way you choose, and the augmentations you gain open up more opportunities for you, such as silenced footsteps, cloaking, enhanced strength, running speed, and jumping height, easier hacking, reduced recoil, or a reflex boost, enabling you to take out more than one enemy at a time. Many critics and players disliked the boss fights, but I personally didn't have a problem with them. Since you can only really shoot them, I do understand how they are antithetical to the game's emphasis on choice, but they were still a fun and not overtly difficult challenge for my stealth killer playstyle, which is admittedly the only style that would work for the bosses. I just wish the bosses were characterized better, or at all really, as for all I know the second boss is Lisbeth Salander. Also, the fight with Jason Namir is, no joke, the best boss fight I've ever played. If you opt to have your biochip replaced at a limb clinic, antagonist Zhao Yunru will be able to shut down your augmentations and make the boss fight with Namir, the mercenary who nearly killed you, much harder. The macabre setting of a display room filled with jerking automatons resembling skinned humans, your impaired abilities and scrambled heads-up display, the confined yet maze-like environment, and the powerful, agile enemy who taunts you while hidden and inflicts serious damage on you in your weakened state, all make for one hell of a stressful, cool high point. Having said all that, the final boss fight in the Hyron Core is crap. It's unclear what you need to do to defeat Zhao, but once you figure it out, the final boss fight is ridiculously easy. Another complaint I have is how difficult the locations are to navigate, especially in Hengsha, and how confusing the map is. Also, the inventory management is extremely clumsy. Otherwise, Deus Ex Human Revolution is an outstanding game, with a highly compelling plot that tackles important issues of progress, ethics, and freedom, complex and interesting characters, fantastic dialogue and voice acting, satisfying quests, a high level of player freedom and customization, exciting combat and stealth, and an awesome boss fight with Namir. And I mustn't forget the glorious score and theme song by Michael McCann. Deus Ex Human Revolution earns 4.5 stars out of 5. Thanks for watching. Cheers.